Face-to-face talks wrapped up for the day in Istanbul between Russia and Ukraine, the first in-person talks between the two countries in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Ukraine says its priority is a ceasefire, while Russia continues to demand Ukraine's neutrality. Meanwhile, Moscow continues its air attack on Ukraine's capital. Russia's defense ministry said it will scale back military activities around Kyiv and another city to create conditions for dialogue. CBS News' Debra Alfarone has more.
Russia's deputy defense minister says Moscow will, quote, fundamentally cut back operations near Kyiv and another major city in Ukraine to increase mutual trust. The latest development was announced in Turkey, where negotiators from Russia and Ukraine wrapped up a day of talks aimed at ending Russia's deadly invasion. In addition to a ceasefire, Ukrainian officials are seeking guarantees for the nation's future. Russia has demanded Ukraine declare its neutrality and have no military affiliation with another country. And Ukrainian President Zelensky says he's open to that. Here at the White House, the Biden administration is watching the talks closely, while President Biden continues to defend his comment, saying Vladimir Putin cannot remain in power.
I want to make it clear, I wasn't then, nor am I now, articulating a policy change. I was expressing the moral outrage that I feel, and I make no apologies for it.
On the ground in Ukraine, military officials say they've recaptured 2 towns outside Kyiv. One NATO official estimates between 7,000 and 15,000 Russian troops have been killed in just over a month. But in a video message, Ukraine's president says it is too soon to talk about areas being safe. Debra Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Well, joining us now from Istanbul, Turkey, is CBS News producer Pinar Sevinclider. Pinar, what is the outcome of today's meeting, and how is it different from previous meetings?
We can't call the outcome of today's meeting as a breakthrough, but we could consider it as a progress. What happened today is the Ukrainian side laid its position to the Russian delegation, and they're waiting for an answer. Ukrainian side offered to adopt a neutral stance if international guarantors provide its security, meaning the Ukrainian side, Ukrainian negotiators said they proposed a status under which the country would not take part, would not join any military or political alliance if its security is guaranteed in terms similar to Article 5 of NATO, a collective defensive clause of the pact, meaning if Ukraine comes under attack, these guarantor countries would have to step in and protect it. The name of Israel and NATO allies Turkey, Poland and Canada are mentioned as potential guarantors. If these countries accept these roles, Ukrainian side say they could be invited to the talks as soon as in 2 weeks' time. They could take part in the negotiation between Russia and Ukraine. Russia also made promises today. It said it is going to scale down its military operations around Kiev and Chernihiv to increase mutual trust. Ukrainian top negotiator was optimistic about today's meeting. He said he believed enough progress was made to pave the way for a meeting between Russian President Putin and Ukrainian President Zelensky. So today's meeting was the second face-to-face meeting that took place in Turkey in the last 2 weeks. So comparing to the other previous talks, it produced more positive messages, but we will see if the countries will follow through with their promises.
So, Pinar, give us a picture of what's at stake for both Ukraine and Russia if these negotiations prove unsuccessful again, because it's my understanding the region that Russia is offering to sort of pull back on is the one in which it's facing the greatest difficulty anyway. So it's sort of like, well, thanks, but no thanks, from the perspective of the Ukrainians. So can you give us some insight there?
Well, a permanent ceasefire and a humanitarian corridor have been the priority for the Ukrainian side, as the humanitarian situation on the ground is getting more and more desperate every day. For example, the southeastern city of Mariupol has been under Russian siege for weeks now, and the mayor of the city says estimated 160,000 people trying to survive with no food, no water, and no electricity. So creating a humanitarian corridor for these people have been the main priority for Ukraine. But unfortunately, today's talk failed to provide any progress in that sense. But when it comes to Russia, according to the Western military experts, Russia also facing difficulties in the face of really increasing fierce resistance by the Ukrainian side. The military expert says the missteps Russia took, food shortages, putting the country in a very difficult situation, and Russian President Vladimir Putin needs a quick victory to be able to save face back at home. So a quick solution would be beneficial to both countries. But of course, the ultimate decision lies with the Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Pinar Sevinclider, thank you.